Starting video. We're live.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Obina and Belinda Indu here.
At Covenant Marriages Academy, where we strengthen strong marriages and help all others to discover their soulmates.
We appreciate you all for tuning in again this week. We have part three of soulmates. We've done part one, where we talked about empathy. We did part two, where we talked about
generosity.
Yes, and if you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you.
Go back and view that.
Very important. Mm-hmm. I think it's oh gosh, what would you say? How many people have touched the video? Those two videos?
Generosity.
Both.
Reach has been over 100,000 families. We're so grateful and humbled by that experience.
Absolutely. So we encourage you to continue, because look, if 100,000 people touch something, that means that there's something good there. All right. So God has blessed us to be able to be a channel for you all to be blessed in your relationships. It doesn't even matter if you're married or not. In fact, we've been finding out that the singles have been getting even more out of this than the married couples, because if you really think about it, it makes sense. The married couples, they're applying it to what they have. The singles are applying it to themselves before they have. So I think it's awesome that the singles have a blueprint before they get married. And so we highly encourage you, regardless of your current relationship status, don't discount yourself from this information, because information is more powerful if you have it before you need it.
Yes.
Because then you have a chance to digest it. So again, we're going to talk about the third part of soulmates, which is
priority.
Yes. Priority. So 3-part series. First one, empathy. Second was generosity, and this now is priority. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the deal. Let's just go ahead and jump in here. Oh, by the way, I highly encourage you, stay till the end. Stay till the end, all the way to the end, and you'll see us going back and forth here. We're on our computers, because so many people, send questions and we interact whenever we have time. But priority is utmost importance, because here's the deal. Let's do this first. Why don't we define priority? We all know that the word priority means to put at the top, right? And you know what's interesting? I had a conversation with my best friend a long time ago, and he said, "Obi, do you know priority means one?" And I mean, just a simple question, but it's like, wow. Because we often just say priorities, right?
Right.
And we often, because priority means you're most important. That's really what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Not your most importance. It's your priority, not necessarily priorities. And so this is really key when we understand it just from that basic element, that priority means you're number one. You're number one above all else. And so, in God's word, he talks about leaving and cleaving, leaving your parents to cleave to your mate. And so when he talks about that, he's really referring to priority and prioritizing. So it's really important for us to understand that a lot of times in our life, because things are out of order, that's why things may not be working. And so we want to start off today by just really bringing that to our attention and saying, look, your mate is your number one. They are your number one. In fact, you're going to be shocked at some of the things we're going to share with you today in terms of what they are number one over. A lot of us get that they should be number one over our parents, but there are a few other things we're going to share with you in terms of what they should be number one over.
Yes.
But keep this in mind, though, as we move forward. I'm going to have my wife here jump in here on this priority subject here. But keep in mind, guys, that we are going to have a treat for you by the end of this live today. We're going to share something that's really strong. We've been creating and working in the backgrounds. In fact, even up until this call, we were running around getting things together for you all, because we want you to be blessed. So stay tuned till the end of this live, and we'll have a very, very, very special treat for you. An end of the year, beginning of 2018 treat for you all to bless you in the upcoming year. So, babe, what do you want to share on priority?
Yeah, absolutely. Great job, by the way, honey.
Thank you, babe.
Well, first of all, I wanted to share with you guys, just to let you know that priority is the number one law of marriage. As a matter of fact, after marriage was first instituted, it was the first law ever given. Like my husband mentioned, that God told, the first command given was when God said to leave and to cleave. And we already defined for you in our previous series what men and women really want, part 2, what it means to leave and cleave. Mm-hmm. To leave is to actually pull away from, to separate. and to make priority. Okay, there it goes again. And to cleave means, it's an action word. It means to actively pursue. So in that case, they mean to actively, God means to actively pursue your spouse in marriage. So here's the deal. If God has clearly said that priority is important, who are we to say, no, we can put our children first? What about that job? Listen, I went to school for 8 years so I can have this career. Surely my spouse will understand. I mean, there's a perfect balance to that. There is maybe not perfect, but there is a balance that we want to help to introduce to you guys this evening. So we're really excited about that, and also all the information that comes along with it. But before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and let my husband get started with children. How do they play a part in making your marriage priority? What does that look like?
So, I grew up in a household where I was raised by a single parent. My mom raised my brothers and I. And so my dad wasn't in the house. And so that's part of my story. And of course, at some future point, we'll delve more into that, because there's some principles in that too that we want to share. But the reason I bring that up is because I grew up without my dad. And so people ask me today all the time, how come you're such an incredible father? And I'm grateful for the question and the compliment. But it's because I feel like I'm a good dad because I didn't have one. And so I bring that up to Titus in here because for me, going into a marriage, children were a top priority for me. Because I said, I didn't have my dad. I'm going to make sure my children know this dad. I'm going to make sure that this dad is a great dad. I'm going to make sure that they can't repeat what I say and that I didn't have one. And so here's what I then learned. I then came into the marriage, and living from that space, I was putting my children at times over my bride. And what that ends up doing is it distorts the order of things. Remember at the beginning, a few minutes ago, I said that priority is number one, right? And things have a sense of order. There is 1, 2, 3, then 4. It's not 1, 4, 2, 3. No, it's 1, 2, 3, then 4. And so here's what I discovered. We discovered that children are a temporary assignment.
Right.
Let me say that again. Children are a temporary assignment. Your children one day will leave you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but matter of fact, they're going to want to look for you. Matter of fact, they're looking forward to probably leaving you. Because look, let's be honest. When we were kids, what did we say? Man, I can't wait
till I grow up.
Right?
I'm
I can't wait.
This, I'm gonna have that.
Right. Man, I'm gonna leave. Man, I'm gonna get my own cell phone. I don't have to take this one you gave me. I just a flip phone, Mom. I can't even text anybody on this flip phone, Mom. That was a big one for me. But anyway, so here's my point though. My thing was, I realized that my children were going to be a temporary assignment. At some point, they're going to leave me. God gave us these kids for us to raise them now. And He gave us a lot of kids, y'all. If anybody's looking for kids, they come with diapers. I'm more than happy to send them to you. I won't mail them in the mail because I might get in trouble. I'll drop them. Anyway, so let me stay focused. Here's my point. I'm kidding, y'all. I love my children, our children. But here's my point. They're temporary. Because they will leave you, doesn't it make sense that we focused in on each other? Because that's what happened before the children. Isn't that what happened in order to create the children? And isn't that what will be here after the children? And so that's why we say that, hey, pay attention. Children are temporary assignment. Do not, under any circumstances, dads, put your daughter over your wife. Do not, under any circumstances, moms, put your sons over your husband. And I say it in that order because a lot of times that's what happens, right? Because there's nothing more important to a mom than her son, and then vice versa for a dad than his daughter. It doesn't mean they don't love the other children of the opposite sex. It's just, hey, dads and daughters, moms and sons.
A special place in their hearts.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. And so keep that in mind, you all. Children are a temporary assignment. They will leave you. In fact, we actually were doing a little study one day, and we were investigating how many times couples that were together 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you think, okay, man, they've got a great marriage. They've been together for 30 years, 40 years. And then all of a sudden the kids grow up and leave, and then they get a divorce within 12 months. And you wonder, whoa, hold up. You were together for 20 years. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. They were staying together just because of the children.
Yeah.
You see? And so that's another side of it, is that sometimes we make the children such priority that they're actually the only reason why we're in the marriage.
Right.
And so to me, it just, is something that we need to pay attention to. So.
And just like how some men, as a defense mechanism, they'll indulge in their hobby. Wives, we tend to indulge into our children. We tend to make our children more important than our spouses. And most of the time, it's really to get away or to not actually have to deal with issues that may be present in the marriage.
Yeah.
So we certainly encourage you to keep in mind that your marriage it only works in first place. Mm-hmm. Again, it's the number one priority. It's the number one law in marriage, the law of priority. So you definitely want to keep that present in your marriage, and understand too that as you're going throughout on a daily basis and you're engaging with your children and you're engaging with your spouse, your children are more secure when they see you and your spouse in a happy space.
Yep.
The children have happier marriages and happier lives when they see the two of you engaging in a healthy, way, having healthy communication. So all of those things are paramount, and sometimes we kind of brush it off to the side because we don't want to address issues that may be present in a relationship. And you may be thinking, and you could be saying, hey, I came to the marriage with this child, and I was married before, or I was in a previous relationship, and it's just always been me and this child, and I'll take care of my child, and I'll let my husband take care of the children we have together, or what have you. And no, God is saying no, you're still allowing that child to come before your relationship. Mm-hmm. And again, that does not work. That child may have come from a dysfunctional situation, but that dysfunction does not have to continue. You surrendering your weaknesses, you surrendering your fears, maybe it's from your past pains, or maybe it's from something that you experienced as a child that you're trying to protect your current child from. Now, just because your husband or your wife may not be the biological parent of your child, it does not mean that they cannot love your child the same way they love their biological children. Think about it. Look at Jesus and his relationship with the Father and us. We're all stepchildren. Mm-hmm. We really are. But yet he sent his only begotten Son to die on a cross for us. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the fact that we were not his, right. We were not his actual son of God. We were adopted right. through the free gift of salvation. Right. So just keep that in mind, that we always got to keep the marriage first.
Absolutely.
You always got to keep the marriage as your priority, and the children thrive in that type of environment.
There is a poem that I read a while ago. Let me see if I can remember it. This is just off the cuff, y'all, so hope I don't embarrass myself here. It said, "No written word or spoken plea shall determine what our children will be. Not all the books on all the shelves, but who the teachers are themselves." And the reason that quote stuck out to me was because we oftentimes, the reason we make the children priority is because of some reason, some justification, right? Maybe we feel like, a lot of people do this, they feel like, well, the child is always going to be with me, but tomorrow you might decide to leave me. So we have so many reasons why we put the children as priority. But the reason that poem is so powerful is because when your child sees you making your spouse priority, guess what they learn automatically? They learn what I didn't learn until after I got married. Remember a few minutes ago I told you that I grew up with no dad, so I knew that my children were going to be my priority. I didn't learn that my spouse was supposed to be my priority until I got married. But see, what happens when you're living in that healthy space is that your children learn that just because of who you are being. Because it's not what you say to your kids, it's who you're being with your kids. And so when you make your wife priority, you make your husband priority, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you on so many levels. I mean, your relationship is strengthened. Your relationship is empowered. your children are empowered. And so let's move on. I know that sometimes we make work our priority, right?
Yeah.
In fact, some people make work such a priority, they bring it home, right? So here's the thing. We found that if a wife is an attorney, she shouldn't come home and cross-examine her husband, right? Because in her workplace, she might be the alpha there, but when she comes home, she's supposed to be the beta. God made him the head and her the neck, right? A lot of women sometimes have a challenge with the submission piece, and it's amazing because we're going to do a subject on that too, that it's really submitting to the purpose of the marriage, not necessarily submitting to the person. But that's a whole nother conversation. Stay tuned. We got some strong stuff coming in the future, y'all. So anyway, here's the deal. So don't bring work home and make it priority. Don't make the children priority. Don't make your hobby priority. Don't make your pastimes priority. Your priority is your spouse, period. There is no comma at the end of that sentence. God is the one who created the institution of marriages. Yes. And that's what his law says. It's just like me trying to use the refrigerator to heat up my food instead of the microwave. In order for me to have the refrigerator work the way it's supposed to, I need to obey the laws that the manufacturer intended for that instrument. And so the manufacturer of marriages is God. And the way he said that it will work is if you put your spouse first.
Yes. So question, you kind of went fast on that.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to clear.
Sure.
Ma'am?
I'm sorry, baby.
Okay.
I made her feel old, y'all. But I said that.
Okay. So what does it look like putting work first before the marriage? What about the doctors and the professionals? I mean, even us, I mean, we're professionals. We both have our separate, distinct careers that we're very passionate about. And how did we learn to balance that?
Well, it's interesting. As you were asking that question, a story came to mind.
Okay.
And she probably, I think she knows where I'm about to go too. But I remember once, because my wife and I, one of the things we have is we own a tax company. And so I'll never forget this. We were in Florida one year, because that's where the company's based out of. And during tax season, you guys know it's only, 3-4 months out of the year, right? So, so we're blessed in that we get to, spend that little bit of time, get all this money, and then spend the rest of the year with our children. And so here's why I bring that up. During that time, because it's a short time, my wife's mindset at that time was, hey, it's only for a little while,
hustle,
right? Let's just hustle. It's only 3-4 months. And then when it's done, baby, we've got 8 months to ourselves. We can do whatever. We can wake up when we're done sleeping.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Some of y'all don't even know what I just said. So we can then spend more time together, so on and so forth. And I literally, as the man in my house, I told my wife, I said, no, that's not how we're going to do this.
Yes.
Because who we are being is who we are, period.
Right.
And so Lucifer, all he needs is a crack, and then he's coming in the building. And so what I said was, no, we have to cut off the day at a certain point. So even though, yes, it's 3-4 months, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I get it, babe, and I want to hustle too, but we have to keep each other first. And so what we decided to do was, instead of her working to 9, 10 at night, working with clients and so on and so forth, or me out marketing and doing different things for the business, we decided, hey, we're going to cut it off. No matter what happens, here is the time, we cut it off. And the same thing is what we suggest to you. So if you're a doctor, we get it. You might be on call. You might have certain things you need to do. But if you don't set the precedence as the leader in your house, as the leader in your career, as whatever it is you're doing, that look, this time I leave because I need to get back home to my family. I need to get back home to my loved ones. They're important to me, just like this job is. I come here at 8 o'clock and I show up on time. I need to go home on time. Yeah. And so that's what it kind of looks like. I'm using the story that happened with us just to kind of make that point to you all. But baby,
I know some of you may be curious about what my experience was like. He had to actually do the same thing in his business as well. He had to, choose the family over all these business trips all across the country all the time. So we kind of shaved that down, and we began to travel more together on his trips, and it became a vacation. And I guess the main thing we want to do, first of all, I want to tell you about my experience first, and then I'll tell you. My experience in that is when he came to me, he said that, for the life of me, I'm like, is he serious? What do you mean stop working? I will stop working April 15th. What do you mean? I mean, so I did my best to convince him, and then he was like, "Baby, listen, just let's try it. Let's try it this week, and if everyone in the office loses it, then let's go back to your plan." But if we're able to properly manage and bring on the right competent staff to make this work and to make this grow, then let's move forward with this plan. Now, let me tell you guys, that week I came home early every day.
She did.
My husband laid it out. I mean, he spoiled me that week. It was so awesome. I'm still waiting for that meal again.
Okay.
Remember that pad thai?
Oh, I remember.
What about those cabbage rolls with all the different inserts?
20 different items I had for that one meal.
That's what I'm talking about. The cabbage. Remember the cabbage? See, we're vegan, so we have to. So I don't know what he did. Maybe he called Betty Crocker. I don't know, but he worked it out.
I called Obi Crocker. I was in the kitchen, chef homeboy. I was in there working it out.
Yes, because I'm working all day, so I really didn't have a chance to have a quality meal. And the other thing we missed out on is that when we were working together that much to 9, 10 o'clock at night, we would come home and we'd be absolutely exhausted. But then he would pack up food and he'd be like, "Baby, we're going to a movie, so I'll pick you up at 7:30. So, I mean, it just became an incredible event. It became an incredible experience for us. We began to put our marriage first, and then our office thrived. I mean, we prayed over our endeavors. We prayed over our efforts, because instead of going into it with a negative mindset saying that, "Oh, well, this isn't going to work. He doesn't know what he's talking about," I was like, "Lord, if this can work, help me to work with it."
That's right.
Lord, if this is your will, because you placed it on my husband's heart for a reason.
Right.
And I want to see things from his perspective. Remember, empathy.
Right.
I want to get into his world the same way he gets into my world. And in doing that, he actually got into my world, saw where I was struggling, saw a need, and he sought to fulfill it. But I didn't see that at the beginning. I just had to move by faith. But because we had a foundation of priority,
That's right,
being the number one law of our marriage,
yeah,
I surrendered my desire, and I ended up winning.
Yeah.
And as a result, it strengthened our staff. We have a more competent staff.
Yeah.
We have managers now that we can depend on. I mean, our staff went from 80 to 100 in that time period. So I'm really grateful for that experience, and thank you for bringing that to me too.
Me too, baby. Me too.
Yeah.
And so the moral of the story is, ladies and gentlemen, if you keep priority first, if you keep priority in order, in God's order, everything else works out. Even the things you think will be problems, your creativity will kick in, and you'll find some workaround, because priority. It's that order. And so listen, let's move on here, because we're running short on time. We also want to talk to you guys about this real quick. There are we're going to give you about 5, maybe 3 to 5 examples of what it looks like for us to make each other priority. We just gave you one. Here was not in terms of priority, but actually, yeah, it still is priority.
Yeah.
But let me say this before that, because this is what threw me off. Another aspect of priority is defending your spouse. Defending your spouse. You see, because there's nothing that makes your spouse feel more safe and secure in your union than to know that you got their back. Now, I know we all say we got each other's back. I know it should be assumed that we have each other's back. But you see, it's kind of like love. You spell it T-I-M-E. In other words, it's not spelled L-O-V-E. It's spelled T-I-M-E. You spend time with someone, that means you're actually showing them love, right? Because you can say I love you all day long, but if you don't do I love you, if you don't show I love you, there is no I love you.
That's right.
It's just verbiage. And so it's the same thing with I got your back, right? You can say I got your back. You can say, we're going to do this together. But if you don't live I got your back, there is no I got your back. Right. So I'll tell you a quick story. When we were, and it's funny, I haven't shared this publicly in this way. And I'll condense it again for the sake of time here. When my wife and I first got married, or were looking to get married, I told my mom that I found my wife and I was ready. Finally, I found someone who I think fits me. And my mom was against it. And the reason she was against it was because in my culture, and I come from Nigeria, in my tribe, the way that it works is you're not supposed to, how do I say this so that you guys can get this? I'm trying to condense this for you. Okay, let me put it this way. My grandfather was pretty much like the king of the village, if you will. And so we had schools, buildings, churches, all types of things, streets named after my grandfather. And so being his eldest grandchild, I was his first grandchild, and I'm a boy. I was kind of like heir to his throne, if you will. I get teased for this all the time because some of you right now are already thinking it. Coming to America, that's Prince Hakeem. No, this is Obi. So anyway, I know you're cracking up. Everybody teases me for that one. So anyway, my wife had been previously married before. And so because of my background and because of all that stuff that I told you, because of who I was to my family and to the community, I'm not supposed to marry someone who's been married before. And so me telling my mom that I was doing that was blasphemy. And so because of that, my mom rejected my wife before she even got a chance to know her. I mean, it was a tough deal for us. This took almost, 2 years, babe?
Yeah.
Lasted about 2 years. Long story short, here's what happened. The very last conversation I had with my mom before she turned around was, my mom laid it out on me. She let me have it. And I said, Mom, let me ask you a question. I was real calm. And I said, Mom, can you tell me anything about Belinda other than her stats? Those are my exact words to her. And she looked at me and she didn't say a word to me. I said, Mom, here's the other thing I'll say to you. You should trust yourself in that you did a good job. You did a good job in raising me. And that I'm not just going to pick some random person, that I'm going to make the right choice for me based on the principles you instilled in me. And that was the last thing I said to my mom. And I went back and I told my wife this. I didn't talk to my mom for, I don't know, months, maybe even close to a year at that point. And my wife, although the whole situation saddened her, the amount of joy, the amount of a force field, the amount of safety, the amount of sanctity, the amount of comfort that it gave her to know that my mom, here I am, the oldest boy now, raised by this woman, by my mom, and I'm like her best friend. She's my best friend. That I defended her to my own mother prior to getting married. Ladies and gentlemen, if I wanted 18 children, she would have gave them to me right there on the spot.
Maybe not 8.
I'm exaggerating, y'all. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. So my point is, though, I defended my wife even to my own mother.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know any higher way to defend her other than maybe to stand in front of a guy shooting a gun. But ladies and gentlemen, that's what I mean by defending your spouse. Yes. Even against the people that you hold dear to your heart. This is your priority. Your soulmate, your spouse is your priority above everyone.
Yes. Great show. Every time I hear that story, I want to cry. And it's just such a blessing, too, because during that time period, although I know that she didn't have the most favorable opinion of me because we hadn't had the opportunity to build that relationship, I knew that I had to be prayerful. I had to still pray for her heart. I still needed to make sure he was being a good son. I still needed to remind him of her birthdays, the special holidays, to go see her. You know, just a little things that he may have disregarded. Because I needed to let her know that she wasn't losing a son. Instead, she was gaining a daughter.
That's right.
And I also committed to God that I wouldn't give her or do anything during that time period that I would ever have to apologize to her for.
In fact, I'm sorry to cut you off, Dave. I got to tell you guys this before she finishes this. I want to commend her for that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, listen, you got to understand what I'm about to say. My wife did not raise her voice. She didn't speak out of line. She didn't curse my mom out. She didn't say anything derogatory. She did nothing towards the negative. Now, you have to understand, she was crushed by this because she was excited to have her second mother in her life. She was excited to learn how to cook fufu for her Nigerian warrior. Egusi soup. She was excited about all of this stuff. And so it crushed her. So although she was dying inside, she never in any way put it out.
Right.
And it reminds me of what God said. And he said, be angered, but sin not. Yes. And she sinned in no way towards my mom. And then ironically, you know when my mom came back into our life? When our daughter was born. We're in the hospital. I'm still in shock that it's a girl because I thought I was a boy. And I thought the doctors didn't know what they were saying. They were like, "Oh no, it's a girl. We checked." And I'm like, "No, it's tucked in. It's between his legs. Check again." Anyway, sorry. So I'm still recovering, right? And the door opens, and guess who walks through? My mom. I couldn't help it. I cried.
We all cried.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, now let me tell you. Absolutely. Here's the crazy part. Today, her and my mom,
best friends.
They talk more than my mom. Listen, if I want to know what's going on with my mom, I ask my wife.
Right.
That's as a result of her.
She actually likes me more than
she doesn't.
Almost.
I was just joking around, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, you get the point, though, y'all.
Yeah.
Because my wife maintained that level of integrity, they have the most amazing relationship today.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to cut you off, honey. I just want to share that.
It's okay. No, thank you for that. The last thing we want to share with you is I want to talk to the other side of defending your spouse as well. We got to keep in mind that us ladies, we get, like, when we're mad at our husbands, like, even husbands, when you're upset with your spouses, it's a part of our, you know, how we deal with it or how we heal to get it out in some way, especially as ladies. But we got to keep in mind that God has put that ability or that desire to express our real feelings in our hearts simply to draw us back to Him in prayer. So that feeling that you feel is not for you to go and have a discussion with your best friend, because then you're tearing your spouse down, not defending him.
That's right.
Okay? It's not for you to go and have a conversation with someone who's not going to, you know, build your marriage up, who's not going to add to it, but that's going to build file cabinets against your spouse. And tomorrow when you guys are good, they still mad. No, that's not cool. You're not defending your spouse when you go there. So having conversations about your mate when your spouse is not there, that's unfavorable, is you define your marriage, and it's called, and you're not defending your spouse. So keep in mind that having your spouse as priority is defending them, not just physically like my husband did with his mom by separating that time period when she wasn't willing to accept me at the beginning, but also with our tongue. We want to defend our spouses with our tongue. Ladies, we got to remember to cover our husband's faults and encourage them in the part that they're great at. You want to encourage them and honor them where you see them, not where they are. I remember when my husband was only, you know, when we first got married and he was going into his investments, and I was really excited, and I, you know, he was maybe only bringing in an extra $1,000 or whatever, but that $1,000, I'm like, baby, you did what? I mean, I raised every fiber in his being. I mean, I really baked him up about that, because I knew that one day that 1,000 would be 10,000. And last month he just brought in, the month before he just brought in an extra 40,000 from from being so smart, just from making good decisions for us, and he's building other things for us that's now in the 7-figure. I mean, not to brag or anything, but I'm telling you guys, where we are now, we didn't start there.
Right.
But it's a blessing now to us and to our family, simply because we made ourselves priority. Right. And we realized that not only God put the world around and causes it to rotate on an axis for a reason, as a consistent, constant reminder that what you're gonna sow, everything you reap. So what goes around comes around. So guys, in marriage, if you sow a soul, you will reap a soul. So how you become soulmates in your marriage is by making your spouse priority. But how do you really make them priority? By you being priority, allowing them to be priority in your life. And when you do that, you will reap a relationship where someone else is putting you priority as well.
That's right.
So.
That's right. And then one or two little ones real quick here, and then let's go into the gift that we have for you all, because we got man, time flies when you're actually having fun with this stuff, man. It really does. So here's another quick one that we instituted right at the top of our marriage. Whenever my wife calls me, first of all, she has a special ring on my phone. That's priority. That in itself is priority. So if my phone is sitting on the desk or somewhere in another room and I hear it ring, if it's that tone, I know it's her, right? And I automatically go grab the call because I know it's my wife. The other thing that we did around that as well was, she knows this. And watch this. We didn't plan this part. I'm telling you, watch her. I know what she's going to say. I'm going to ask her this question. Babe, if you call me and I don't pick up, what do you do next?
I'll wait, because normally you pick up all my calls, but if you happen to miss, you'll call me right back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was something that didn't happen by accident.
Right.
So I don't know anybody who had accidentally had a successful marriage.
Right.
I don't know anybody who accidentally made $1 million. Right. I don't know anybody who accidentally bought a 7-bedroom, 7,000 square foot home. I don't know anybody who did those things. All those things that we look at and we want all happen intentionally. Somebody purposely said, this is how we're going to do it. And so we intentionally said, hey, if we miss each other, don't sweat it. Don't freak out. I'm going to call you right back. Right. If it takes 10 minutes, know that it must be something I'm really doing important for us. I'll call you right back. Right. And we know that. So now we're calm. Now here's the thing. Does that mean if she has an emergency, she should wait? No, she'll call me 2-3 times. Now I'm going to pick up because she knows this. Yes. So then if I hear my phone ring 2-3 times and it's that ringtone, I know there's an emergency. Something is up. She really needs me. The kid is in trouble. She's in trouble. Something happened. So ladies and gentlemen.
Call 911.
That's right. Right. Hopefully
really
not.
Hungry.
Yeah, right. Pregnant. Right. That was another thing. Baby, how you? What happened? The kid's okay?
I need some tofu butter pecan ice cream now, please.
And pickles. Anyway, so listen, y'all. This is let's stay focused. So look, the point though is family, is we intentionally are having a successful marriage because we put little things like that in place. Yeah. I had a friend who said something to me the other day. He said his wife noticed that when I call him, or anyone else that he may love and respect calls him, that he stops what he's doing and picks up the phone. But she didn't feel like he did that for her. So you may think, oh, such a small thing with the phone call thing. Tell that to the person who's not getting that it's a small thing. So ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how small, medium, or large the thing is. Make it priority when it comes to your mate.
Absolutely.
All right? So, well, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, so much more we could share, but let's wrap up priority with that. And let's go into the gift.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh, okay, by the way, please make sure you tag the video. Share this with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with those that are already married. 20 years, 2 years, people that are looking to marry in some year. Share it with everybody, ladies and gentlemen. That's how so many people are being blessed because we can't reach everybody. Right. And we know that no one voice has all the answers. So I'm sure they're getting help from their parish priest or whomever. So, but the point is, there's always something that someone else can take away. So please make sure you tag your friends and family on this video, and especially after you hear what we're about to tell you. So, you want to do the honors, babe?
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are so excited. First of all, we want to tell you our inspiration behind this. Each year for the last over 10 years, we have been fasting. Well, actually, I started on my own fasting. God impressed me to fast from November 25th. Right after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, all the way until I would say around, what was it, January, the end of January. Yeah. And I wouldn't go from food the whole time. I would transition. And if I was pregnant during that time, which it has happened quite often, I would fast from maybe secular TV or certain programs that were just for entertainment or certain activities, So, but whatever, I would consecrate my time ahead of time rather than going into the new year trying to prepare myself after the New Year's for the new year for something that's already here. And I asked God, I'm like, wow, I know that you've told me to do this. After a few years of doing it and seeing that me making that extra effort, how it has actually increased my life. And then my husband and I, we've been doing it for the last 7 years together. And I see that how it has actually increased our life every single year. God has taken us to a new level, and in all areas, in our marriage, in our businesses, in our relationships with our children. Yep. He has consistently and constantly grown us. And I personally had the mindset when my husband and I first got married that life is like, okay, you're good, then you're bad. Though you're good, then you're bad. Then my husband was like, no. Literally, he shook my shoulders like this. Can I demonstrate? He was like, give yourself permission to be happy. Yep. Was that abusive? Okay. No, it wasn't. He was like, give yourself permission to be happy. Your life does not have to go wrong. Things do not have to be bad for you, But in my life, how I grew up, that's how I thought everyone was like that. I never saw anyone that consistently was successful and just it stayed, and consistently happy. Although trials come, they handle the trials and they get over that and they grow from it and go through it, and they're on their way to their destination, to their destiny. So we've done that, and we've kind of mastered the concept of doing it in all areas of our lives. So this year, God has given us such an amazing platform. He's given us over 40,000 new friends through Covenant Marriages Academy, and he placed on our heart that this is not just our passion, guys, but this is our mission. We must share with you. So we take it personally as a personal responsibility for us to share with you some of the dreams and concepts that we have gathered and grown through over the years. So we're taking tens of thousands of dollars worth of information of self-education, years of grinding, making mistakes, and we're putting this in an event just for you.
Yeah.
So we are flat out excited to let you know that before the new year, you guys will have the opportunity to have all the information that has made us successful in our marriage, in our health. I personally have been a vegetarian for 17 years. My husband is, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for him. Our children have never tasted meat, and it's just amazing. However, and they live a healthy, happy life. So, I mean, and in our finances, we've mastered some concepts that we want to share with you. We just want to give this stuff away to you guys, and we're excited about it. So God has put it in our heart to have this event. It's going to be online, so it doesn't matter where you are on the globe. You can join us.
Yeah, just real quick, because we noticed, by the way, we've had, about 40 to 45% of our viewership has been from Nigeria.
International viewership.
Nigeria, Australia.
Big up to Nigeria, man.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, she's trying, y'all. She's trying. So anyway, babe, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to share that part that so it doesn't matter where you are. It's an online conference.
It's an online conference, and we are bringing the heavy hitters. We're gonna have. I don't want to mention the names yet, but we are having the top people in the prospective industries, and that we're gonna show you how to not just thrive in your relationship, but thrive in your complete life. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm excited. So
I got something to say. So hey, listen, guys, real quick. That was our son. He's away at school. Yes. He's getting ready to come for Thanksgiving, so he's calling. He called mom's phone. He's calling my phone.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to wrap up here. So let me just summarize this all for you. It's an online conference. And so that means you can stay in the comforts of your own home. Doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to get dressed, leave the kids, find a babysitter. You're at home, wherever you are. As a matter of fact, it's going to be over the holidays. So we know you're going to be with friends and family so they can get a chance to be blessed too. So online conference. And we're going to cover every single aspect of your life. We're going to talk about your marriages. We're going to talk about your finances. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about, what else did we mention on there? Oh, mindset, your health. So we're going to cover the full man, not just your marriage and relationships. Of course, that's at the heart. That's the core of it. But of course, in order to have a healthy marriage, you got to have a healthy body. You got to have your healthy finances. Most divorces happen because of money. And so we're going to cover all different aspects of the total being. And it's not just going to be us. We're going to have people that have, listen, this one gentleman as an example that I just spoke to yesterday, gentleman is worth over $300 million. And so that's in one of his businesses. Yeah. So who better to teach us on money than somebody who's a master at money? So we're going to have people from all different walks of life that are masters in that area that will share what they have done to create their wealth in their health, their wealth in their mindset, their wealth in their bank account, their wealth in their marriages. Even if you're single, it doesn't matter. Matter of fact, the single people probably going to get the most out of it. So ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 here's what we need your help with. We need your help. We need your help. Before I tell you how to get registered and take advantage of this, I want to tell you that we need your help. We're kind of stuck, and we were trying to figure out the date in which to do this by. And so we have time to figure this out because it's online, right? So we want to release the date somewhere in the next week or so to you all, but we need your help. And so we're going to bless you for helping us. So here's what we need your help with. We need to pick the date that this is going to occur. And so originally we were going to go with December 26th, but then we realized that day after Christmas, people are with family, people are away, people are traveling, people are trying to take things back to the store that they don't like, blah, blah, blah. So here's the deal. We would like to know between December 26th obviously we want to do it ideally before the new year.
Yes.
But even if it means we got to go into January, no later than January 2nd. So if I was to put it in a box and say December 26th to January 2nd, when do you all want us to have this conference? Because it's for you. It really is. It's for you. I mean, we're going to be blessed too. Don't get me wrong, but we're doing this for you. So here's what we want. We want to incentivize you to help us. So we want you to either post it on the Covenant Marriage page. Yeah. All right. So if you're not a Covenant Marriage Facebook fan yet, you obviously need to like the page so you can join, and then we'll be able to see your vote. But we need you to vote on the date that you want to see this. Whatever the date. Yeah, people are starting to do it now. But you can also do it through Messenger as well. Let us know. Whatever the date is that you want, just put that on there. You guys should have the conference on December this or January that. So put the date in there that you would like to see the conference. For each person who does this for us, here's the deal. We're actually going to give you a 20% discount for the entry fee into the conference. So we're literally blessing you for helping us figure this out, because we don't want to pick a date that's convenient for us. We want to pick a date that works and is convenient for you. Right. So whatever the date that gets the most votes, that's when we'll do it. And so even for those of you who may not be able to attend whatever date we decide that this is going to be, well, you all decide that this is going to be, we're going to have it where you'll be able to download it afterwards, so you won't miss anything. So anyway, with that being said, I know people are sending messages and stuff now. My wife is responding already. But here's the deal. We also would like to let you know that, what do I want to say about this, babe?
It's up on the
website. Yes, thank you. You want to text the word soulmate, SOULMATE, soulmate as one word to 31996. Again, text the word soulmate. My wife is putting it on the page now. Text the word soulmate to 31996. Do it from your cell phone. It will respond to you once you hit send with a link that takes you right to the registration page. It's actually our website, and then when you get on our website, I believe you want to click on events, and you'll see it on there. But the tabs are up top, and click on it, and you'll see where to get the information for the seminar. And stay tuned onto that page, because we're going to obviously constantly be uploading and sharing new things with the speakers as we line them up and get all their details. We're going to put them up there. We've already got them lined up pretty much, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to show you who the speakers are. We're going to let you see their background, if their books that they've written, whatever it is that they've done, so you can start getting prepared for this. I'm excited, you all. I really am. I was talking on a conference not too long ago, and I was sharing with folks that a lot of us attend concerts, but very few people attend conferences. Yeah. And I was telling the audience that the difference between a concert attendee and a conference attendee is 6 to 7 figures. That's the difference. Yes, it is. And I don't mean in terms of investment. I mean in terms of ROI, return on investment, in terms of what it does to your life. My mentor told me a long time ago, he said, Obi, there are a few things that you have to do on a regular basis that will cause you to be successful in any area that you focus on. And he said attending an annual conference is one of them. And it's been 17 years now, and I've never missed a conference. Every single year for the last 17 years. Some years I've attended 2, 3, 4. My wife mentioned earlier I had to slow down on the conferences. But but my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that the conferences will change your life. Because instead of you living out 15 years and making mistakes and then learning from them, you can take the information from people who've already lived those 15 years. They condense it to 15 minutes or 1 hour, and now you just learned 15 years in that compressed time frame. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to take advantage of this. Remember, text soulmate to 31996, and the link will pop up. Click on it, and you're good to go. All right.
And we just want to acknowledge some of you for the things that you've done, the love that you've shown. And we want to just say hello to some of you. Latasha Cunningham, she said January 3rd. Natasha, we said to the second, man. She's like, hey, you said break the rules, right? So, also, Karate Baby, is that Karate? Said December 26th. We got another Denise, December 26th. Oh, Latasha Cunningham. Oh, the good thing about it, guys, the beauty in this is that although you may not be available on that particular date, we will still give you the ability to download it and watch it at your leisure. So,
yeah.
But we want to have as many people live as possible, because at the end of the segment, that you will have the opportunity to tap the brain of these people, of these experts in this industry. So any issues you have on marriage, any issues you have in your finances, we had a couple people, husbands as a matter of fact, it's been the men that's been contacting us about, you know, how do we deal with, how do we handle finances in marriage? So you'll be able to address the professionals on that issue.
Yeah, and even though it's downloadable, again, make sure you pay attention to the website, because you have to choose that option.
Right.
If you do not choose that option, you will not have the download. So I can't emphasize enough. Text the word soulmate to 31996. Click on the link, and then of course look around on the website, look under events, look under the resources tab. You'll see it there. Okay. So again, pay attention to the details of this, so that we don't want to mislead you in any way. We don't want to tell you that just because you register means you're getting the download automatically. You actually have to register for the download aspect in order to get it. So pay attention to the website, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's it.
And we love you too, guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharonda.
Yeah. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone way over our time. We'd love to say hello to every single person out here, but we got to go. We want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Yes.
We know that a lot of people watch this, you know, after the recording, so we don't want to belabor this and go, you know, any longer. So, and our kids, I think, are starting to lose it too, y'all. We hear them screaming over there. So let's go pay attention to our children. But again, thank you so much, you all, for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the love. Thank you for sharing. Again, I can't say this enough. We can't get to everybody. This is not about us, ladies and gentlemen. It's about this world. Some people have to take a stand. My mentor told me a long time ago, when good men take a stand for something that is righteous, it causes the backbones of everybody else that pays attention to stiffen. So tag your friends and family on this so that they can be blessed with this information. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about. Tune in.
Again, we're Obe and Belinda Indu with Covenant Marriages Academy, where we strengthen strong marriages and we help all others to discover their soulmates. Thank you. Take care, and we'll see you again next week. God bless you all.
Bye-bye, you guys.
Yes.